This is the Soil and Plant podcast with Martijn, Stefan and I am Cindy. This is where we talk about growing healthy, tasty foods by resilient plants on a living soil. Today we're here with Dan Kittredge. Really nice that you're here. We're really looking forward to talking to you today, Dan. Well, for the introduction, I will ask you to do it yourself because you know yourself best.
All right. Well, I think the part that is relevant or people care most about is my professional attribute. My background is as an organic farmer. I grew up on an organic farm in the U.S., in Massachusetts. But for the last 15 years, I've been running an educational organization called the Bionutrient Food Association. I coined the term nutrient density in 2007, 2008 to refer to the nutritional variation in food that we know with our noses and tongues as flavor and aroma. I like to say if you've eaten a tomato off of the grocery store shelf and a tomato fresh out of the garden, you know that there's variation in nutrient levels in food. And so we don't talk about it necessarily with governmental labels and things like that, but our organization's been doing a lot of work to help farmers optimize nutrient levels in food, which connects to soil health and farm viability, but also to do research to document that variation and to build instruments to assess it and try to bring that forward as a market standard, a way we can effectively have very powerful impact on the climate and ecology and our health, etc.
It all clings together.
It does seem to. That wasn't much of an introduction to myself, but it's...
No, it's more about what you do.
That's what I do.
Well, it's all right. But
I can go on myself if you want, but we can go lots of different directions there.
You've been doing this for quite some years now. What are the main conclusions if you look at nutrient density?
The main conclusions?
Yeah.
Well, it does seem that there's an absolutely complete connection between soil health, plant health, animal health, human health. Pest and disease resistance, flavor, aroma, shelf life, farm viability, ecosystem function. These are all different facets of the same
topic.
Gemstone, whatever you want to look
do I
at
have to think about like 5 or 10% in difference between carrot number A and carrot number 2, B? Or
the second piece is that there's dramatic variation.
Dramatic?
Yes, extreme. The organization that I've been running, the Bionutrient Food Association, we founded a sort of a research wing called the Bionutrient Institute in 2017, and we began to look into the question of how significant is nutrient variation in food, and we've been doing a lot of research, sampling dozens of crops on multiple continents over many years, and it's depending on which nutrient you're looking at. If it's things like elements like copper or zinc or calcium or potassium, it's maybe 2x to 5x to 10x. So this carrot has 4 times as much sulfur as that one, or 8 times as much phosphorus as that one. So 4 times or 8 times, that's a big number. But then when it comes to the compounds that we call flavor and aroma that are actually powerfully health-giving or anti-disease,
really
implementing antioxidants and polyphenols and things like that, it's more like 20 to 1 or 40 to 1 is the variation.
So then I have to eat 1 carrot or 40 carrots to get the same goodies as eating.
Right, if you wanted to, so specifically with carrots and antioxidants, the range we found was 40 to 1. So this possible. Carrot would have 40 times as many antioxidants as that carrot.
That's enormous.
It's massive. It's absolutely massive. And that's the edge of the spectrum, of course. What we found, if you call that 1 in 100, almost all the carrots were between like 15 and 35. So there's the out of 100. So it's a bell curve. And the high end, like which we can see is possible based on a few samples, has a very few samples.
So you see that it's possible, but the majority of the carrots are in the low end of the spectrum.
The vast majority. The vast majority of, and that's not just carrots, it's cucumbers and potatoes and wheat and oats and everything we looked at.
So you have done some sampling on different foods.
Dozens of different crops from multiple continents, thousands of samples, hundreds of farms.
And is the variation every time the same?
It's massive.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is the point, is that what we call noses and tongues, flavor and aroma, is functionally a nutrient monitoring system, and we're animals wired to know what's good for us and what's not. And when we experience a lot of our food not having much flavor, it's because it's low in nutritional caliber. And that comes from soils that are not functioning well, that are detrimental for the ecosystem, that cost a lot of money for the farmers to manage in the ways that are counterproductive, that are connected to chronic disease. The agricultural system is deeply broken. We have a few practitioners showing what can be done, but the vast majority of what's out there is quite low. If we understand that reality, and for me, I like to say, start with humility, because I'm a farmer first. And I got into all this because I couldn't make a living farming.
Yeah, we are also all farmers ourselves.
And I had lots of pest pressure and disease pressure, and I was like, I'm an organic farmer. Things are supposed to be better, and they weren't. And just because you're organic does not mean that things are doing well. It just means you aren't using synthetic chemicals. So figuring out how to optimize system function actually is the solution to the climate irregularities, imbalances, the economic viability, the pest and disease resistance, etc.
That went quite fast. Then you said something like, if you're bio or certified organic, we call it bio in Europe. You also sampled those kind of categories, like local, organic,
biodynamic,
from the store,
regenerative, no-till, cover crops.
What was the conclusion? Because every party was waiting to say to the other parties, look, we're better than them.
Everybody who thought they were better was sending in their samples, and they didn't want to look at the fact that they were actually in the low end. It was only, well, let's put it this way, the only thing that we found that correlated with higher or lower levels of nutrients was higher or lower levels of life in the soil. So the more well the microbiome is functioning, which is the gut of the plant, the more well the plant is functioning.
So regardless of the label you're working on, certified organic, no-till, or whatever, regardless of that, the only factor that's influencing the nutrients in your food is soil life.
All these other factors are factors, but the central primary dynamic is the level of life in the system, which makes entire sense if you understand that it was the microbes that evolved plants to begin with 420 million years ago. And
before we started showing up.
I like to say on none of the first 6 days did God invent fertilizer. Actually, indigenous cultures globally were able to optimize system function at continent scale with no wheel, no plow, no beast of burden. Right, so humans have shown that we can work profoundly well with nature. But we don't need PhDs, we don't need lab coats, we don't need peer-reviewed papers. We actually need to support the level of life in the system. And that caretaking, that deep, sensitive caretaking, seems to be what correlates with system function, not our bureaucratic, binary, reductionist, mechanistic labels and
how
false
our system
identities.
Works and how we try to label things to prove to other parties.
It's part of a reductionist, mechanistic, colonized mentality.
So you talk about the mentality. What we see if we talk to the people around is that the knowledge about soil life is really low, actually. Is that what you see also on a global scale? Because here in Holland, most people don't really know that there is soil life. Is my opinion.
Well, I'm definitely in the middle of a very unique circle of people, so I couldn't exactly say what else is going on around the world. I will say there are so many more people now who understand about soil life than used to. 15 years ago, 20 years ago, when I was first talking about inoculation and things like that, it was a completely revolutionary concept. And now we have internecine warfare between the soil food webbers and the Korean natural farmers and the all the different IMOs and it's great that there's this battle of like, our microbes are better. No, our microbes are better. No, this is God's greatest solution. We've got the silver bullet.
Yeah.
But at least they're fighting over the fact that microbes are important.
Yeah.
Which is massive progress in the movement compared to where we were 15 years ago.
So there's a lot of things happening.
It's great progress.
You say we as humans have evolved with plants to eat the most healthy ones because we can smell them and we can taste them.
So those compounds that we call flavor and aroma are these complex, really health-giving nutrients.
Yeah.
And plants only build them when everything else is functioning well.
Yeah.
It's a symptom of overall system function to have a high level of flavor or aroma.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we are evolved to discern what's good for us and what will cause our children to be well.
Yeah.
I think it's something like 30% of our DNA is associated with the function of the nose and the tongue.
Yeah.
Of all the biological systems that we have, all the things that our body does, smelling and tasting is considered by nature to be really, really important.
Yeah.
Because the health of your baby is dramatically connected to the nutritive status of your body.
Yeah.
And if you eat things that don't have high levels of nutrients in them, your body's going to be at low levels, which means your children are going to be at low levels.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really quite powerful how simple and elegant it all is. When food doesn't taste good, that's why kids don't eat it, right? The reason kids don't eat their fruits and vegetables is because they are animals and they know better.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if they're local, it doesn't matter if they're organic. When they're tasty, kids will eat them, is my experience.
And I have a friend and he sits a lot in his car because of his job, and he says, well, I have a bag of carrots with me from the supermarket, but they taste like soap, but I eat them because they're good for me.
Yeah.
And then you say you have to listen to what your body says, because when they taste like soap, probably they are not.
It's much better than a Snickers bar.
Yeah, that's
or potato chips.
Definitely.
Yeah. Food is better than junk.
Yeah.
So let's just differentiate.
Yeah.
All food from nature, whole things that God invented, is what we should be consuming.
Yeah.
And all synthetic processed products is junk and should not be what we consume. So let's just, we're going to discuss good carrots versus bad carrots and good wheat versus bad wheat.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not mistake ourselves and say processed products is what you should be eating.
Yeah.
That is not what we should be eating.
If
So let's just
eating more whole foods, then it would be a massive change already.
If only we ate whole foods, we'd be massively more well than we are.
Yeah.
I'm only talking about that continuum in that edge of the conversation, and saying it looks like if we did that, if we actually had high quality food available to people, they'd be more likely to eat it.
Yeah.
Right, peaches and tomatoes and everything else
and we are
don't
all
taste particularly good.
programmed to sense and to smell and to taste. If it's good for you, it's really nice.
Yeah.
It has a good flavor, and then it nourishes you. That's the main.
Seems to be the basic point.
And also you're saying children are born that way and not influenced by years of supermarket food or low density food. And so they're programmed to recognize it by nature.
Yes.
And then when we grow up, we kind of forget it or something. Or
I think we're oftentimes have our senses polluted by synthetic experience, right? By synthetic flavoring agents that are put into things to mask the fact that they don't have inherent flavor. And then when those entirely intense sensations come in, that's when our systems get tricked and start to head off sideways. But there's a whole deep conversation about early childhood development and how we should be raising children, and whether we should be living in cities and in front of screens and all that kind of stuff. If we want to talk about holistic, systemic, cultural revival,
that's a whole nother rabbit hole. Yeah,
we can sit here all day.
That's what I'm getting more and more passionate about.
Yeah,
because
we too.
We too. Yeah,
we got to think about systemic healing.
Yeah.
Right.
Agreed. Yeah.
And have to have plans and conversations and strategies for how we can be more well.
Yeah. We've got an 8-year-old son, and he loves to just we say graze in our home garden. Mm-hmm. So he just picks stuff up and can I eat this raw? Yeah, you can eat it raw.
Of course.
And he likes everything.
Yeah.
It's so great to see.
I used to have this trick I would do with my kids when they were young, when we'd have guests over for dinner, and I would just give a little sort of eye gesture to the guest, just don't say anything. and I had to remind my kids that they weren't allowed to have their salad until they finished their dinner. I'm like, oh, all right. And they would literally finish their plates so they could have their salad because it was a treat.
Yeah.
Because it was such a thing that they wanted. It was used as like dessert.
Yeah.
Like,
Incredible.
Not that they were eating other things
They
poor
had to
in the first place, but it was just kind of like, like
They really like
as if you get them, if you raise them up without
in that mindset,
perverted, as like, yes, that is a treat for me. I want it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
that's also with the fruits that we grow now.
Yeah.
So we have the nashi pears.
Mhm.
Do
The
you
Asian
know?
pears.
Yeah, Asian pears,
the Asian
yeah.
pears.
Yeah.
Yeah. He loves them so much, and we didn't have them before. But now it's really a treat.
He
for
wants
him
all of them.
to just eat them. Yeah.
That's
Yeah. We
really
hardly
nice.
get any because he eat them all.
Good.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
really nice. Yeah.
So you do now. You have some enormous experience with all kinds of foods that you've been tested. And then the next question that I have is, how do consumers, of course, can make the right choices
Yeah.
to buy the foods that nourish them?
Because we can't smell and taste everything in the
In the
supermarket.
supermarket, you don't smell anything. That's not a problem. But
Well, so this begs exactly the deeper point in the work that I'm doing.
yeah.
So, yeah, well, I'll just say, the original work was to help farmers, growers of all scales, understand what I call principles of biological systems.
Mhm.
So how did nature evolve things to work? How have plants grown for the last few 100 million years?
Yeah.
And how can we, as people who manage land to, produce food,
Mhm.
understand how to optimize that dynamic?
Yeah.
And so that was like the original work for many years of the organization. And as it spread around the country and around the world, it would look like didn't really matter: scale, crop type, climate zone, soil type.
Mhm.
Like working with nature seems to be a better
The
system.
only solution to
Yeah.
to making
Lower cost of production,
Yeah.
better ecological system function, better resilience,
Yeah.
better flavor,
higher
better
crops,
shelf
more
life.
nutritious. Yeah.
All these things were happening. The more people's systems were dialing in to
Mhm.
symbiosis.
Yeah.
And so the thought was, if this is true,
Yeah.
this is the kind of thing that should scale. How could we take this and inspire it to occur globally?
Yeah.
Because the vast majority of the way agriculture is practiced is not this way, and it has a whole bunch of negative repercussions.
Yeah.
So the basic concept was, if we could help people who buy food discern the relative quality of food, if you could know, if you got 3 different choices of bags of carrots on the shelf,
Yeah.
if you could know one was 20 out of 100, one was 40, one was 80 out of 100,
Mhm.
you'd probably take the 80 and leave the 20,
Yeah.
all other things being equal.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I didn't say it, but when I was a kid, I grew up on an organic farm, but my parents founded and ran an organic farming organization.
Mhm.
And so they were instrumental in writing some of the first organic standards in the US back in the 1980s. And so I had this personal experience of watching a sort of an impulse, a grassroots movement turn into a certification and a whole, bureaucratic structure
Yeah.
and things like
Yeah.
that. And I saw how that got effectively co-opted, at least in the United States, by big business and industry and things
Yeah.
like that. And so, for me, the question was, how can we have people who buy food have like true assessment of relative quality as opposed to a certification label? And I thought if we could do that, if we could help people discern what's better and what's worse, they'd likely choose what's better,
Yeah.
and that would pull through the good stuff and leave the bad stuff on the shelf, and that would apply an economic incentive to the supply
for
chain
everybody to get better.
to focus on nutrition instead of
Yeah.
volume,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that would be a way we could change the world.
Yeah.
And so, the question was, how would you do that? How would you be able to test?
Mhm.
And my thought was, we shouldn't have certification labels. We should give people the ability to test.
Yeah.
Because I took physics in college, I understood about this thing called spectroscopy,
Yeah.
which is how all of our satellites are, this like the Hubble Space Telescope can read what stars are made up of a long ways away is through this science called spectroscopy, which is that everything in chemistry, a compound or an element, is a vibration. In physics, it vibrates at a certain frequency. And so I thought, if we can take a picture of something 10 million light years away and read what it's made up of,
Yeah.
It should be possible closer.
why can't we do something with a millimeter away? Exactly. So that's the vision, is that we can build handheld instruments that you can use at point of purchase to flash a light and see what's good and bad and where it sits in the continuum. So we've been doing a lot of research on that topic, and we, building instruments and calibrating them. And in 2021, we were able to release around the world our first generation handheld spectrometer calibrated for 10 crops for a couple different nutrients to show it was possible. Because when we talked about it in 2012, 2014, 2015, people said, baloney, can't be done. That's Star Trek, not possible. So we've proven that's a viable strategy. It's a doable thing. Now the question is, but that was for individual nutrients, for polyphenols or for antioxidants, not for overall quality. This term nutrient density we're talking about. So the work we're doing now is to build that definition of 1 to 100 in every crop. Like, how do you say this steak is 20 out of 100, that steak is 80 out of 100? How do you say this potato is 30 out of 100, this one's 50 out of 100? What process scientifically do you go through to be able to build a calibration for a meter that can give you that reading?
Yeah, because that's definitely the most work. That calibration of defining quality. That's a massive.
No one's done it.
No.
And the concept. I mean, people say this is local, not local, organic, not organic, regenerative, not regenerative. Our thought is we should have 1 to 100 scale. And it should connect to human health, soil health, flavor, farm viability, pest and disease resistance. If we can find the actual numbers of nutrients and ratios that connects to that, this one is better human health, better flavor, better soil health. This one is worse. If we can figure that out, then we can build a meter that can measure that. That would be the thing in your hand. And so that's the work we're in the middle of right now. We're an NGO, we're a nonprofit, a charity. So everything we're doing is open source. It's in the commons. All that science, the whole research is. We're not a company like the Google or Facebook.
You're not a
building their algorithm, which is hidden and black boxed. Right? No one knows the Facebook algorithm, like how it is they manipulate what you see and don't see. No one understands the Google algorithm. That's their proprietary information. How they become billions and billionaires is because they hide and control that information. What we're saying is this understanding about what is 1 to 100 in potatoes and beef and milk and rice should be open and in the commons, and everyone should be able to understand it and trust it. And then once that's been built, let there be many companies who build meters that you can buy. That's not our job. We want to be the people who help build that trusted definition.
But
process.
Open source also brings a lot of things that a company maybe doesn't want to invest in your organization, because they say we want to invest, but only when it's not open source. Is that
this
correct?
Is exactly the problem. Is that this is an expensive science project, and expensive means takes money, and the question is, where do you get the money from? And so that's what I'm in the middle of right now. Here it is, October 2025, and I'm in continent 2 of a 5-continent tour that started in September and is going through November, and we're proposing this treaty. We're calling it a treaty on the definition of nutrient density, and for people who are familiar with a treaty, like there's a chemical weapons treaty and whatever, all this sort of treaty on the way the law of the sea. Somebody drafts a document, and then all the people that are going to be part of it review it, and they make suggestions. Change this sentence, add this paragraph. Like, this doesn't make any sense. Fix that. There's a treaty negotiation process, and then once that negotiation is complete and everybody's happy with the final draft, then they sign it. So that's what we're doing right now. Is we've drafted a treaty based on our research over the last 8 years. We think we have a good idea about how to do this. We did it with beef. That was a big deal, doing it with beef. And so we're saying, let's do it with 20 crops. Like, it took us 4 years to do 1 crop. Because no one's ever done it in the whole world before, and we didn't know what the hell was going on. There was no models. We had to basically figure it all out and raise the money and everything else. But now we've got momentum, and our thought is, okay, we think we know how to do this. Let's bring it to the broader people, like whether it's nutritionists or agronomists or all the companies and chefs and farmers, and let's bring it out to people and say, here's our plan. Who wants to be engaged in this process? Because everything we've done so far is based on this fairly small educational organization.
Yeah.
Like we've just been thinking, this is important, it needs to be done, we're going to do it. And now we're like, okay, great. We've done a basic job. People have heard the term.
Yeah.
People are beginning to get excited about it.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can engage a process where we can have collective ownership, where people can say, they can take ownership in this process and say, I'm going to, edit, suggest, augment, critique this treaty as part of a global process. And what we're doing is listening sessions. So we're going around the planet and hosting these events where people can come and they can listen to the plan and make their suggestions. And then at the end, when we have a final draft, we hope people will sign it. And if we can get hundreds of people, thought leaders, researchers, organizations, companies around the planet to sign on the treaty, then we think we've got enough momentum to go to the funders and say, we need $25 million. And we need $5 million to start. And then at the end of tranche 1, we need $8 million for tranche 2. And so here's the standards, here's the pathway, here's the process. Who wants to kick in 50 grand for tranche 1 and 100 grand for tranche 2?
But I almost get angry about it if you look at it, how many boxes it ticks, like climate change, health of people, medical care, all those big topics in the world. And if you see what with BFA, what you need in scale of money wise to do so much good work, it's kind of my God.
Yeah.
Why should it be that difficult?
Oh yeah.
And
I think, it's an open question.
Yeah.
It doesn't. You can get frustrated about that, or you can just say it is what it is.
It is
And we haven't had anybody write us a $25 million check yet.
Yeah.
But maybe one of our listeners has some spare money.
Well, but I think part of it is building a process that is in the model of nature, which is symbiotic, which is decentralized, which is myceliated, whatever. Is it possible for us to go through the process of acting like nature, modeling our engagements on nature's pattern,
the same way,
and building a truth together? Maybe that's part of why it hasn't happened yet. Is because there, it's been this one guy, Dan Kittredge, out there pushing the envelope, and everybody else is saying, "Go Dan, go Dan." That's not nature's model.
No.
Nature's model is a bunch of us all together, coming together and myceliating and becoming, quorum sensing. So that's my thought, is maybe that's what I missed. Is I've been so busy pushing, and I haven't stood back and said, how do we make sure that everyone feels ownership,
new approach,
and engagement?
And currently you're touring Europe, so you were in Lisbon this morning still. Now you're in the Netherlands.
I was and I'll be tomorrow in Budapest.
It's exactly. And
weekend.
You're doing listening sessions.
Yeah.
When people miss the listening session, how can they help? Because you're drafting a treaty.
Yeah.
Can people give input on that? Is it online already?
Yes.
Is it how can people help you?
So the website, it's bionutrientinstitute.org/treaty, and so bionutrient.org is our main website. Bionutrientinstitute.org is where we hold all the research we've done for the last 8 years, and /treaty is where the documents are there, the treaty, the appendices, the opportunity to put your name on the process. You can say, I support the process, and put your name on that. If you do, you can get a little, icon that you can stick on your social media, like I signed the treaty or whatever. So it's about momentum. It's about energy. About people collectively engaging. If you want to, you click on this button here, and you can get the editable Google Doc, and you can make your comments on the side. So we're literally facilitating anybody who wants to get engaged, put your name on it, tell people you're engaged, do the edits. Say you want to volunteer. There's if I want to help out, I want to get the word out, I want to share. So, and this is the way the word spreads, is through podcasts like this.
Yeah, we're gonna add the link in the comments as well.
Beautiful, thank you.
Completely a different question then. Did your own choices in what you eat change by all the information you got from your science?
Walk your talk.
I have eaten a lot less pork and chicken recently.
Okay. Because you also did some studies on beef or chicken?
Well, precisely. So we started, the first crop we worked to define nutrient density on was beef. And
did you came up with, in between, a scale from 1 to 100 for beef? Did you finish up with that?
Yeah, well, all the data is collected. It's basically in the hands of the scientists who are writing the final report and getting it published.
Okay.
So they've got the preliminary answers. They just haven't published them in the peer review journal yet.
Okay.
So
it's coming.
We can see.
Almost there.
Yeah, everything but the whatever. I mean, it's not real until it's in a peer review.
Yeah, true.
Once it's in a peer review journal and you're done, you can't say you're done until then, even though you're all is.
You're done, but
whatever.
Okay.
It's in the final stages, but we feel like there's nothing else we can do now. It's like in the hands of those guys writing the papers, and so we're ready to move on to the next step.
But that's a big accomplishment.
It's taken a lot more time and effort than I thought it would, but this whole thing, I guess, is a big project.
Yeah.
So, so I mean, one of the things about beef that I kind of knew but didn't really know was, when animals eat grain, which they aren't evolved to eat, it causes levels and ratios of nutrients in their flesh to change to become in unhealthy ratios. So basically, if you feed a cow grain, the more you do, like up to 3 months. Once it's 3 months, like it's too late. Like whatever, you can keep doing it. Doesn't get worse from there. But in the U.S. at least, like 98% of the beef that you get was fed corn or grain for the last 6 months of its life. When animals eat a lot of grain, they get these imbalances in their body. So whether it's
omega-3 and omega-6
that's one of the obvious compounds. People have heard about omega-3 omega-6 ratios. But I grew up on a farm where we had pastured pork. We moved our pigs every 2 weeks into a new yard, but 90% of the food they were eating was grain. So they may be pastured organic
outside
pork, but the compounds in their flesh were basically coming from things that are not optimal for them, and so they have these unhealthy ratios. Chicken, we had chicken tractors. We moved our chicken tractors every day.
There are a lot of them here also in the Netherlands.
And we move every day. But if 85% of what they eat is grain, those eggs, that meat, is not anywhere near as balanced for your health as it could be.
If they eat the diet that they're supposed to eat.
What they evolved to eat.
Yeah.
And so you can take that grain and you can sprout it. And all of a sudden those ratios shift. You can take, a polyculture fodder grass and you can ferment it and feed it to pigs, and they'll finish on that. Right? There's ways of shifting the diet of the animals and still maintaining like speed of growth.
And it's the same like this is maybe off topic, but my wife is coming from Indonesia, and her parents are always, when they eating rice tomorrow, they do it in a pan of water today, and then soak it, kind of sprout it, and then the next day they eat the rice.
Yes.
Is that the same principle?
It's a little bit different. So with the grains, there's these things called phytase inhibitors, which basically make them indigestible. From the grains perspective, it wants to come in one end, go out the other,
program to
and then germinate.
Put them out.
And so they're basically physiologically indigestible. So traditional cultures know if you want to cook beans or dal or whatever, you soak it overnight. You convince the seed that it's sprouting, it releases the phytase inhibitors and becomes much more bioavailable. That's different than sprouting. So if you sprout a seed for like 5 days or a week, it can start off with a 20-to-1 omega-3 omega-6 ratio, and as it turns to green leaves, it'll go to 1-to-1. So that would be what you'd have to do for the chickens.
But it sounds logical, going back to the chickens and to the pork, like they have to eat what they are intended to eat by their nature.
They were not evolved to eat corn and soy.
But it's what we massively do in the industry.
And it causes lots of profits for the people selling corn and soy. It causes profits for the people selling vaccines, for the, it's the whole way agriculture is being done now is based on profits for people selling stuff to farmers. It's not based on animal welfare. It's not based on ecosystem function. It's not based on farm viability. It's not based on, human health. It's based on optimizing profit for corporations selling stuff to farmers. And so that's why farming is hard to make a living, is because you're a sucker basically being sold a bill of goods by people who are taking advantage of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you worked in harmony with nature, as indigenous cultures have done for millennia, your cost of production is basically non-existent.
Yeah.
Tons of productivity,
Mm-hmm.
a high quality of life. So it all goes back to understanding how nature evolved things to work, and being humble and serving nature instead of mammon.
Yeah.
But what you eat then is grass-fed beef then.
So my primary, animal protein is grass-fed beef.
Yeah.
I used to eat a lot more chicken and pork from my parents' farm,
Yeah.
which was grass-fed, pastured,
Yeah.
organic,
Yeah.
highly grain-fed.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
you have some devices, and the listeners can see them here.
Yeah.
But they're going about nutrientdichtheid and how you can easily check the produce that you buy or even have. How can you test it now? We don't have the device yet, or in a smartphone that we can
yes.
flash a light.
Well, I didn't say that part, but the end of this process. So with the process of defining nutrient density that we're going through right now, and our hope that by 2028 we've got at least 20 crops, a definition for them.
Yeah.
It looks like, the camera in your phone can be used to do this job of flashing a light at the food and giving you a reading.
Yeah.
Not the camera in your phone right now,
No.
but Apple and Samsung and
With
Google
some extra chip or
could put
whatever.
a different sensor into their camera. I think Huawei, the Chinese phone company, has already done it.
Okay.
They did it like
Okay.
4 or 5 years ago. They built a phone with a spectrometer in the camera.
Yeah.
So the end game is going to be, we think, before 2030, like if you buy a new phone, like an Apple or iPhone 20 or whatever it's going to be, that you'll be able to literally pull your phone out of your pocket, flash a light, 20, 40, 80, and
make
done.
your choice on the phone.
Upload it into Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and whatever else, and let everybody else in town know
Yeah.
what the readings are at this store, at this farmer's market, so people collectively can begin to go and choose what's best for themselves and their families. That's the sort of the end game vision.
Yeah.
But we're not there yet.
Mm-hmm.
So what do we do now?
Yeah.
This little simple thing I've got here is called a refractometer.
Mm-hmm.
It's been around since
Brix meter.
a Brix refractometer.
Yeah.
It's been around since I think 1830.
Mm-hmm.
If you go on what's that Chinese you can buy stuff. It's not like it's like an Amazon, but it's from China. Alibaba. Alibaba.
Yeah.
You can get them for $6.
Yeah, for almost
Right.
nothing.
It's a really simple thing.
Yeah.
This and a garlic press,
Mm-hmm.
and you can take a chunk of the carrot or lettuce or tomato or potato, squish a drop of juice out of it, get a reading on the refractometer,
Yeah.
and we've got charts that can show
Yeah,
you.
on the internet or
You can download them anywhere, the Brix
Mhm.
Brix chart, and you can see relatively how good your sources of food are in your supply chain. So
Yeah.
that's one thing we're doing right now organizationally is we're building a Brixit. We're calling it the Brixit campaign.
Mm-hmm.
So we're building an app. We're almost done with the app.
Yeah.
We're sort of branding a refractometer and a garlic press,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and making a little kit. So you can get your little kit, and
Mhm.
you get access to the app, and then you can go out and when you bring your shopping home,
Yeah.
like take a chunk out of everything,
Mhm.
squish it, get a drop of juice, and then you upload like date of purchase, point of purchase, brand, or packaging label, and reading.
Oh.
So we can begin to now, as citizen scientists, begin to assess our
Mhm.
local regional supply chain, populate that data, begin to help people begin to discern, etc. So
Yeah.
that's something you can do right now.
Yeah. It's quite simple, quite easy.
Very simple, very
Yeah.
inexpensive, no electronics, no batteries.
Yeah. Yeah. A
Um,
little anecdote, I helped a squash farmer, a pumpkin farmer in the Netherlands. He sells his pumpkins, his bio, over whole of Europe.
mhm.
And he has the Brix meter always in his pocket, because when he sells the pumpkins to Albert Heijn,
Yeah.
they have a standard of Brix that it has to get.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
Oh, no.
really good. And
Yeah.
he says, no, it has to get this Brix. So he also developed a little bit smaller pumpkins so that the Brix was higher in those, because it's a little bit more condensed. So it's beginning to get there.
A lot of industry knows about this.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's not new.
it's from the 1830s.
Yeah.
A lot of companies in the supply chain use refractometers as a stand-in for nutrient density already.
Yeah.
They know the nature of their supply chain. They just don't tell us because they know the nature of their supply chain.
Yeah.
And so what it's about is basically us figuring that out and sharing with each other so we can begin to use our power, which is our money, our purchasing power, to incentivize the supply chain to focus on nutrition instead of volume.
Here in the Netherlands, it's not that well known, the refractometer.
No.
So we made an episode about it.
Brilliant.
But it's in.
I think in the general public it's not well known.
That's
anywhere in the world.
That was my question. How is it in the rest of the world? But you already answered
2%, half a percent, a tenth of a percent of people know what a refractometer is. No, it's not normative yet. But this is the idea: is if we can build an app and begin to have a few people doing it, maybe we can begin to make it not just the refractometer something that people know about, but the concept that nutrient variation exists, that you can measure it, that you can begin to share with each other, that it connects to flavor, connects to your children wanting to eat your fresh fruits and vegetables, connects to soil health.
Yeah.
We have to normalize these concepts because right now they're just not extant in the zeitgeist.
True. Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it starts with the beginning that if there's 2 bags of carrots in the supermarket shelf, that you know that there can be a huge difference between the two, test them, and next time make another, choose the right one for your family. Yeah.
I want to make a different route in this conversation to translate it a bit to the Netherlands, the context we live in here. A lot of our soils are compacted, depleted, high levels of nitrogen, phosphate, and soil life is I want to say non-existent, but that's not true. But
can't be true.
It's
low levels.
Low levels, hard to find. Where do we start? How do we start to regenerate these kinds of soils as a farmer?
And what would you do? That's actually the question.
What would I do? So I've been teaching a course for 17 years, which I call Principles of Biological Systems, which is freely available on YouTube. All you have to do is look up my name, and it'll pop up something that says 12 hours long. What I say is, what you need to do is you need to identify the limiting factors. So what are the things that are inhibiting life from flourishing? And in different circumstances, it's different things. So it can't ever be just this, right? This soil over here is a desert, it needs water. That soil over here is, underwater, it needs air, right? This soil is bare, it needs cover. This soil is worn out, it needs minerals. This soil's had tons of chemicals applied to it, it needs life. So we have to understand the context of the situation. And from my perspective, the foundational point is it's not about what crop you're growing, it's about creating an environment for the microbes to function well, because the microbes are the bottom of the food chain. If the plant is the middle of the food chain and the animals are the top of the food chain, then the microbes are the bottom. If you don't create an environment for the microbes to flourish, the plants will never be able to flourish. So the things that I say are critical for life to function, microbes to function, is they must have air to breathe. So if your soil is too tight, it must have air. There's a bunch of ways you can get there, but if there's no air, they will asphyxiate. They must have water to drink. So if it's too dry, they'll die of thirst. So you have to figure out how to get water there and maintain it. And you can't just say, I'm growing between April and November, so it doesn't matter what happens between December and March. If you didn't feed your children between December and March, or didn't allow them to breathe air, or didn't give them any water, they'd be dead. Right? So you have to understand that your microbes are living in that soil all year long, and they must have these basic environmental conditions all year long.
I'm smiling because I'm using the same example for cattle farmers. So I'm telling them, just close your barn in October and see what's in there in April. That's
it's self-evident when you explain it, because we all have common sense and it's intuitive if we understand the concepts. I think minerals is a big piece of the puzzle. Like for biochemistry, people may or may not know about biochemistry, but this thing called enzymes that are like sockets and wrenches and screwdrivers that are tools that nature uses to build things, to build a protein, to build a carbohydrate, to build all the things of life require these little, they're called enzymes.
Enzymes, yeah.
And they need copper and zinc and cobalt and boron and molybdenum and selenium in very, very small quantities. But if they're not there, that system can't work. Like try to fix a tractor, you need an 11 millimeter, socket. Well, if you didn't have an 11 millimeter socket, all of a sudden it gets very difficult to take that nut off to fix that part, right? And so nature needs all these different enzymes to work. So minerals are a key piece of the puzzle, and life itself, that full spectrum of microbes must be present. So air, water, food, minerals, and life are the basic things that I say, like, attend yourself to and see if any of those is at low levels or insufficient levels. And if you begin to address that, my experience is if you create a dynamic where those things are present in sufficient quantity, you can go swimming, you can take a nap, you play with your kids, whatever you want to do, nature will do the job of growing the plants. And it gets a hell of a lot easier. Your cost of production goes down basically to zero. So basically you'd have to look at that soil and understand what its imbalances are.
Yeah. Thank you.
And it's quite simple, actually. And inexpensive, actually.
And if you want to learn more, then you can go to YouTube, and then your courses are there. And
They are.
Yeah.
Look it up.
We're going to add a link to them as well.
Cool. Yes. I call it a 12-hour stand-up show. Literally, I kind of have a handout, but I kind of ignore it. And I literally start talking Saturday morning and get done on Sunday afternoon. We start on photosynthesis and end on consciousness.
Yeah.
And we go rambling all over the place, and it's always different every time. It's not like a regimented, like, boom, 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 linear thing. It's really completely freeform. So,
talking about
every
consciousness.
version. Yes.
Talking about it.
I love consciousness.
Where does it fit
That's
in?
the
Because
good
we're
stuff.
talking about minerals and water and all kinds of Western
Hard
culture,
science.
hard science.
Physical plain things.
Where does the consciousness come in to have a healthy, vibrant system where you are in tune with your plants?
It seems like consciousness is the foundation out of which everything else manifests.
Yeah.
So that is the sea that we swim in, is consciousness.
Yeah.
And I think the science of the East does a much better job of explaining it and gives us the tools to, study it and perceive it, which are actually, we carry around with us every day, right? This body we carry around with us has multiple dimensions within it that we can tune our attention to and begin to operate through. And we're in the West taught that we have a physical body and 5 physical senses, and that's our way of perceiving. But all kinds of other cultures all around the world say, no, well, actually there's a whole bunch more out there.
Yeah.
And so, for me, I think the level of intention that you engage your land with is probably the most powerful X factor of them all. It's like the loving of your land, the sensitivity to your land. I use the example of raising children. For those who have children, you can have a baby who's 6 months old that's crying, or a year and a half or something, toddler, and they can be crying because they're scared, they can be crying because they're tired, they can be crying because they're hungry. There's all kinds of reasons that a baby's going to cry, and you can't just apply you're crying, therefore I'm going to punish you kind of strategy. It requires that sensitivity, that intuitiveness, that empathy, to be able to sort of sense and feel and love and care for your land and care for your plants. And when you're able to engage your land with that heart place, the things that begin to happen are so fulfilling, right? It just causes life to become much more fun. Like all of a sudden you're just settling into a much deeper level of being, and as opposed to all the structures of human culture and perverse, traumatized ways in which humans behave, when you begin to engage nature with that lovingness, nature always responds with this profound love back. It just is so fulfilling. So as far as a way to live life and a lifestyle and all that kind of stuff, I think it's for me a path. Yeah.
I find it so strong that you also always say that this is really an important part.
It's central. It's foundational.
Yeah.
What are we doing here in the first place?
Yeah.
What's the whole point? I mean, as far as I understand, it's to achieve enlightenment, to accomplish profound levels of love all day, every day, to be this, resonant, vibrating, joyful being, and the way to do that is to actually walk that as deeply as possible in all the ways you can in your life, and surround yourself with people like that, and support people in being that way, and work with nature in that way. So, I was lucky enough when I was very young to sort of take off for the Himalayas, literally, and spend a couple winters up there and get exposed to the perspective of the East, and that's really colored my life ever since. I think we've got a lot to learn.
In a broader spectrum, in a better way.
Categorically. No. And there's this thing called superconsciousness, called transcendent superconscious bliss, enlightenment, love, true love, like that which is the essence of who we all are, that we don't, I think, talk about or attend to or focus on anywhere near enough in this culture. But the more you engage your animals and your plants and your land from that, the deeper
from
you
that
can.
Energy and from that way of being.
Openness, humility, caring, and just start somewhere. The more responses you get, it's really amazing. It's really so much fun.
Yeah, but it's completely different, like a mechanistic way of, then I have to do more calcium and more this and it's like there's a lot of people who are in fighting with their project because it doesn't produce, or it doesn't do this, or it doesn't do that. So it's so completely different way of looking at life, and the way that we are participating in it, and the way that we're connecting in it on different levels.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Start with humility. Start with asking. If you've ever had a relationship with someone, right? If there's a difficulty with you and another human, forcing yourself on somebody, pushing your will, telling them they're wrong, is not going to help. Right? That is not going to help your relationship with that person become healthier. Being humble, trying to say what's going on with you, trying to be empathetic, compassionate, open yourself to that person, sense their reality, and find where you can come together. That's the path with humans. It's a path with children. It's a path with our dogs and our cats and our chickens and our cows. It's the path with your fruit trees and your vegetables and your land as well. It's just that way of being, which is humble and gentle and caring, I think. And things come to you. They may come to you in dreams. Different people have different visions, or they hear things, or we all have this inner world that we don't talk about. A lot of people have an inner world of insights they have that they don't have language for. They kind of doubt themselves. They're like, no, I'm just crazy. Actually, no, there's something profound that you're perceiving, that you're just, your culture told you is not who you are. And
anyway. Programmed in that way. Nice.
So the course starts with photosynthesis. And ends with consciousness. How do plants, why are leaves green, and how do they evolve, how does that work?
Do you believe then that our consciousness changes when we collectively try to eat healthier food that has more flavors, more in tuned? Does it have an impact on your as a being?
That's part of why I'm doing what I'm doing, is because my thought is that it's hard to tune into your higher nature when your physical form is out of tune. If you eat junk, you begin to vibrate the frequency of incoherence.
We literally build up of the things that we.
If you become
Junk in
your vibe. Your vibe is incoherent. Right. You can't think purely, clearly. Those intuitions are harder. Your energy levels are lower. Right. What you build your body out of affects the vibe you have in the world. And it's your own experience of life also. So if the ambient level of food right now for people to eat is low, right? If it's almost impossible to get a high quality carrot or tomato or peach anywhere, how can we expect people to be functioning well? We shouldn't. All these perversions of politics and economics and media and medicine and everything else are part and parcel of the system where we are all functionally relatively incoherent. And so my thought is, if we can use this jujitsu of helping people choose the food that's more nutritious, we can incentivize the supply chain to produce food that's more nutritious, which can help our bodies become more coherent, which can help us tune into our higher nature, which can help heal all these systems of culture that are out of tune because the humans are out of tune. So if the humans become more coherent, then the media system might become more coherent, the political system, the economic system, right? The education system. That's the idea. That's the vision.
Massive.
Yeah. Thank you for drawing it out of me. Yes. Good leading questions. Good leading questions. Yeah.
Is that where your drives come from? You drive to, well, for now, through the world, except instead of, well, stay home on your own farm, produce your own nutrient-dense food, and have a good life yourself. But you've got an enormous drive to...
I don't know. I guess I kind of put this all together in my mind almost 20 years ago when I figured out how I think it all works. And I had a strong desire to, I think we say in English, save the world, which is very much of an egoic kind of framing, but that impulse of having a positive impact, I think a lot of people feel. I had this really strong feeling like things are not right, and I'm not okay with it, and I want to do something with my life that will cause things to be more well. And I was looking around like, fight this, fight that, and I was like, that's not doing it. And I was like, where's the leverage point that I, as 1 out of 8 billion people, can have some meaningful effect? That was my question. Like, how does the world work, and how can I have some meaningful effect? And when I put all the pieces together that I just conveyed, I was like, oh my God, I was like, I don't know, 27 or something like that. Like, I had been in a big rush for a bunch of years. Like, we gotta run, wait, take a deep breath. You're in your 20s, chill out. You got a couple decades ahead of you. Like, this is a project you can work on step by step by step. And so, from a vision to where we're at now, which is like literally a global movement, and all this momentum and all this excitement and like people getting it, and it's sort of spreading, by word of mouth all over the place. We got horrible communications. I mean, we don't do communications. Like, we rarely post on social. It's completely embarrassing how bad of a job we do with communications, and still the vision is spreading because I think it resonates. And that is, I feel like I got a lot of privilege. I mean, my parents were leaders in the organic movement. I would feel like I'm the firstborn son, literally, of the organic movement. Like, it's like if you go into that sort of primogeniture and that kind of stuff, like, I feel like I'm the heir apparent, literally, to the organic movement. And so I didn't realize that initially. In like the first 10 years of my work, I was just like, I just happened to know all these famous people. I know Joel South, and I know Wendell Berry, I know, Sally Fallon.
All the others.
I knew them all personally from a kid. Like, that was just, they were the people that my parents hung out with, and I just...
It was normal for you.
It was completely normal.
Yeah.
And all those insights about how the movement worked and what was going on was like, that was just like, I don't know, you go to, you get raised as like a Presbyterian or as a Methodist or as a Buddhist, like, this is just like part of your culture, I didn't even know it. But so it took me a long time to realize that, like, wait a minute, I'm not normal. Like, my perspective is fairly unique. And so that only sort of strengthened it. Like, okay, I was brought up with, I was given the opportunity, I have the privilege of this perspective from a young age, and so the opportunity to bring things forward. If you got privilege, use it. Right? Some people talk about privilege and like, oh, I shouldn't have privilege, or other people should have privilege. And like, I can't
undo it.
I can't undo what I've got. So all I can do is do as much as I can with it. So.
Nice to hear. That's also why we do this podcast. Because we really think we can help some people.
A lot of us have a lot that we can share, and we, and actually you feel better when you do.
Yeah.
Your
that's
life
true.
improves the more you like serve and give. Like
all
more
those
fulfilled you feel.
positive reactions, all
It's
those nice
beautiful.
gestures. Yeah, that's really nice.
It's a virtuous circle.
Yeah.
It's the same as photosynthesis.
Yeah.
Right? The plant injects the sugar into the soil, feeds the microbes grow, they feed the plant. It's like a
Yeah.
Only gets
nature
stronger.
is symbiosis.
Yeah.
You get ahead by sharing.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
That's the way you get ahead.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
I think we covered a lot of different topics.
I know we did. Yeah, it's great. Well done.
I'm looking around. Well, maybe we can ask you then. Did we leave some questions on the table that we or some subjects?
Did we miss a rabbit hole?
Oh, for sure. We did.
There are many more, but I guess what I'm becoming more and more passionate about is, the experience of the younger generations and the future generations.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm almost 50, and I'm thinking more and more in my life about, the younger generations and the world that is right now, and how difficult it is for people that are in their 20s and teens and 30s and whatever to like get ahead whatsoever, to have a peace and quality of life that's like, it feels like you always have to work all the time and you can never have like a place to call your own. It's just this constant increasing sort of, treadmill. The speed is just faster and faster. And so, so for me, the question is, what are ways we can envision shifting the structure of culture to facilitate, more harmonious future? And I think there's a couple key pieces. One is that early childhood development is critically important. Like what that human experiences in their first couple years of life powerfully sets the trajectory for the rest of their life.
As is with all living beings.
Well, plants, and animals, etc. But if we're being really selfish,
for
and like thinking about our children, which most people do, they prioritize their children over basically anything else. Or you say you want to have children. A lot of people in their 20s are like, I can't afford to have children. My life doesn't like, it's impossible. And the only way I would do it is I have to have daycare and everything else. And I don't want to do that. How do we create a reality where the younger people can feel safe, living that full life? And for me, it has to do with, for me, I think it's land tenure. It's being able to have a piece of land that you can call your own. That you don't have to be able to sell per se, but we're like, you don't have to constantly be paying a mortgage or paying rent. Like you have a safe place and a bit of land to grow your food. Like I think if we can envision a structure of culture where everyone had a bit of land and a simple place as their right, as a citizen in the democracy, like not democracy, other democracy, whatever, as a citizen as a human, like on planet Earth, as a right. As I understand it, it's actually part of the constitution in Russia. There's this thing called the dacha system, where literally anybody who wants is given by the government enough land to have a simple house and grow the food they need. Full stop, end of conversation. You can never sell it.
No.
You can pass it down to your children if you want. It's not something that can be monetized, but it's something that you have a right to. And I don't know why we couldn't do that. I don't know. I mean, farmers are bigger and bigger and bigger. We are off the land. We're turning into wage slaves. We're raising our children in front of screens. We're feeding them junk. Our epigenetics, multiple generations of, physiological decline. Like, why couldn't we just say, like, I mean, how much money does the government spend on subsidies every year for farmers? If we're going to be giving hundreds of thousands of euros in this country to farmers every year to be farmers and not asking anything back from them, if they can't functionally, viably make a living farming and they need the government's money, how about, if a hectare is worth 20,000 euros, well, for every 20,000 euros, you got to give a hectare back. I mean, it wouldn't have to be like complete land reform, give us your land, but, are there ways we can think about facilitating a dynamic where if young people want enough land to raise a family,
to care for,
feel safe,
to care for the land,
to be safe, to put in perennials, to be, like I don't like for me like
one of the basic.
I don't see where this is a problem. except for the system that wants us to be wage slaves and continue to maximize profit.
If you look at Maslow, it starts with a place to live.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? It's basically survival is foundational, and our culture is not providing that. And all the political dynamics we see going on here in Europe and America and all over the place, where the left and the right are both collapsing, and the people are like, the whole system is rigged and corrupt. Could we organize a political party based on like basic human, life, and say, how about we are the people, this is our country, and these rules and laws and systems that were built by people with power to optimize their power is something we no longer believe in, and we're going to use a peaceful democratic process to facilitate, good, simple life for our children and our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren. This is something that to me feels more and more important, and
I completely agree. We see it all around us with people.
I mean, what are we here for? It's not to be wage slaves, right? It's not to be served. It's not to be stressed. It's not to be sick. It's to be joyful. It's to be loving. It's to be having community and meals and music and art and culture and
just a good time.
I mean, family, intergenerational, art and music and spiritual quests and all that kind of stuff. Like, we have all this wealth. But we don't need more money. We don't need bigger buildings. We don't need fancier cars. We need a better quality of life.
We need so much connection with each other.
So let's create a dynamic where we each are safe in our little simple place. And then we have time and space for relationships and culture and community and care and art. I think that's what we need to be starting to talk about more and more deeply.
I'm really glad that you brought it up. We see it all over, and it's all over Europe, and I think it's global.
It's all over the world. Everywhere I go. Everywhere I go. It's absolutely the case. More and more people are like, you know what? This is not working. And what we have happening is like these moves to the extreme and adversity and conflict, and that's not the answer. The question is, what's the answer? So if we could come together around a conversation, which is, what's the answer, and begin to listen and coalesce and talk and share and envision.
It's such a beautiful word, mycelium.
It's quorum sensing, right? It's when you have all these different species all realizing, hey, we're actually better off if we work together than if we engage in adversity. And the model of nature life is the reality we're living in. Nature is reality. It's not chemistry. It's not economics. It's not physics. It's love. It's life. That's the reality we're living in. And if we can understand the rules of life, which are very simple and beautiful, and just organize ourselves around them, we win. Everybody wins. We all achieve enlightenment. That is the purpose of life, is profound love. We just have to realize we're together and act like it. I don't know. That's very exciting.
Really is. Okay.
That's probably a note to end on.
It definitely is a good point to end on.
There's so much thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
Really nice to have you here and have this conversation.
Thank you all. This is great to have 3 people. Usually just one person I'm talking to. People that all,
You gave us a lot to think about, so thank you.
My pleasure. All right.
So this is our podcast for today. If you have any questions, you can send us an email to podcast@bodemleven.nl.